My name is Kate Peterson, and I'm a librarian at the University of Minnesota Libraries. I'm here with Dan. He's going to introduce himself and answer the question that I'm about to give him. So, Dan, tell us, what advice do you have for new graduate students about setting up a writing practice?
Hi, I'm Dan Emory, and I'm Assistant Director for Writing Across the Curriculum here at the University of Minnesota. In my work, I work with faculty and instructors on helping students to engage with their writing, and this works for undergraduate students all the way through graduate students. I think establishing an effective writing practice is a really important part of graduate school. One of the things that I think everyone realizes once they get into graduate school is that the core work of one's discipline, no matter where you are across the department, ends up being a whole bunch of writing. So the mechanisms by which we show what we know and the mechanisms by which we share those things that we've learned, they all tend to focus on those kinds of writing practices. So thinking about opportunities for writing as the core work of your field, I think is really useful. It's not like you'll do sociology and then write it up after. The writing of it is, in fact, a lot of the work that you're doing, whether it's a lab science or an art or performance discipline, wherever you happen to be, getting into a habit of engaging in regular writing can be really, really useful. I think one thing that we often find is that as folks become socialized into academic writing, they're less likely to write in intense or long spurts, and they're more likely to write a little bit at a time or a little bit every day. So if one is coming in with a practice of writing a giant document in multiple 24-hour benders, one of the things that might be useful is thinking about how can I stretch this process out over the course of a couple of days. Getting into that habit of writing during those small windows in your schedule will make your life a whole lot easier.
All right, great. Thank you. My second question is, again, what advice do you have for graduate students who are beginning to think about writing as a way to begin to think about getting published?
I think this is a really critical question. I think 20 years ago, we knew as graduate students that publication was an important part of the work that we were doing. And one was in a better position if one had published work going out on the market. And that wasn't true of the generation that is now 40 years ago. The current generation of academics absolutely have to be published in the context of their work, so that forms of dissertation writing, like the 3-article mode, where pieces are being published even as you're moving through the process of writing a larger monograph, I think those are increasingly common. So again, it's thinking about writing as really a continuous element of your core work. Probably the best piece of advice that I could give to folks is to look at the journals in their field where reputable publication happens. That includes top-level journals, A journals, and then the niche journals for particular research specialties. Look at them over the period of the past couple, 3 years, and see what's getting published. What are the contemporary academic conversations of which you can be a part? Because, I mean, we're all motivated by a particular topic or interest, but one of the ways that publication happens is by advancing a particular kind of academic conversation. So finding out what the core academic conversations are in your field and finding out what are the core research questions or interests, that can be tremendously useful. And finding out what the right methodologies are. One of the things that's most important is to get used to the idea that the goal of being published is really a process goal. It's a goal about submission. That's something that you can control. And it's a goal about getting to the point of revision, getting some kind of feedback from whomever you're giving your material to that will let you move forward. The vast majority of our interactions with publishers are rejections, right? And they're rejections for all kinds of reasons. And getting over the fact that rejection is a part of the process is one of those things that really makes one's life easier. The goal of practically every academic, I think, or the reasonable goal of academics who seek to publish, is to get to the point of revising and resubmitting. And the task of putting yourself out there is something that you can control. And getting, rejection letters are incredibly common. The best folks in your department, the best folks in your field receive twice as many, 3 times as many, 10 times as many rejections as they do acceptances. So if it feels scary, it kind of is. But at the same time, if we can normalize that process of I'm putting my material out there to get feedback and I'll react to that feedback in ways that can keep me moving, I think that is a huge difference. In my own experience as a graduate student, those first rejections were really, they hurt my heart. But now I get rejected so often, it's like, oh yeah, this means I'm going to target another journal, or this means I've got a new research question that I can ask. Getting into the habit of, if you love the process, then publication in a way takes care of itself. And you can't control the product, so you may as well love the process.
Great. Thank you. I think that's really helpful. Do you have any final thoughts or pieces of advice?
I think if you get in the habit of sharing your work, you're going to be better off. So share your work with your colleagues, share your work with your faculty members, instructors, and advisors. Share your work with the Center for Writing. Come and talk with one of our writing consultants. Getting used to the idea of thinking about your reader and thinking about your audience, I think it really demystifies a lot of the process, and it takes a lot of the sort of guilt and fear and shame out of it. If you can get to the point where you're comfortable sharing your work and you're like, oh, the reason I'm sharing this is not because it's perfect or not because I want to be judged by it, but rather because this is where I am and I need help to get to that next step, that can be super useful. So yeah, it requires a lot of courage. So be vulnerable, share your work, and understand that feedback is designed to make you better, not designed to make you feel bad.
Great. Thank you. Those are great words of wisdom.
Thanks.